You're listening to PJ and Friends on pjandfriends.com. Orlando, Florida.
PJ and Friends is proud to present another edition of their Spotlight interview series. And now, welcome your host, PJ.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're on the air at PJ and Friends. This is another edition of our Spotlight interview series. Today, we have Mr. Murder Mystery himself, Scott Cramton. Scott, how are you today?
I am great. I absolutely love that you have kind of like this 80s intro for the interviews.
Well, I'm old.
That was really funny.
I'm old. No, we do a whole series. We've done one of the areas that's pretty ignored, at least here in Orlando, because it's a lot of entertainment. You got Disney, you got Universal, you've got all the theater things and stuff like that. But there really isn't an outlet for somebody that's focusing on the actors, the directors, the venues and stuff like that. And oddly enough, people are all fighting for the same dollar, the same audience. So there's not a central location for a lot of information. So we do our best to interview and talk about what's going on and that kind of a thing. So that's what our goal is. So the Spotlight interview series is just that. And you are a niche here that are pretty cool.
Thanks.
Let's talk about first. You were born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, correct?
I was born and also not murdered in Detroit, Michigan. I'm one of the few survivor. Yeah, that's true. There's still time.
You know, you got that empire. People might go after that empire. Come on.
Well, I fortunately I have a lot of very large security guards. They wear very tiny coats, tiny glasses, but big guns.
Fat guy in a little coat. I got you.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, tell me. You were raised in what was it like growing up in? How old are you now?
I am the miraculous age of 34.
See, your bio on your webpage lies because it said 31.
It's true. But it was accurate when we wrote it.
So you at
and
one
perhaps
time
I
were
should.
indeed 31. Okay.
What's that?
You at one time were indeed 31.
I can play 31 if that helps. And yes, and I didn't lie. At one point in time, I was 31. Yes.
So
hard-hitting interview so far. I'm starting to sweat.
We're good. So what was it like growing up there? I mean, I have friends from Wisconsin, and I think of as snowdrifts. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. But what was it like growing up in Detroit?
Well, snow days do rock. Those are my favorite. But in general, I got pretty lucky. I went to a draw school for theater in high school, and it was this really experimental program. It was something they were doing with a couple select Michigan schools. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was called Giving Them Funding, I think was the goal. So most of the schools got shut down and had absolutely no money. My school got funding. It was very amazing. Almost all the kids had a book. Which was great, and you had to bring your own, normal stuff like pencil, toilet paper, things like that. But overall, it was a good experience, and honestly, I did learn a lot. It was a really intensive draw theater program called Kappa. Later on, interestingly enough, some of the people that I met there in high school helped me run the troupe, including Dan Gordon, our Florida director. So I met him in high school. He moved down to Florida, and then I hired him to run our entire Florida branch.
Well, that's cool. Very, very cool. And so what got you involved with acting? What piqued your interest in acting? And
Well, there was a lot of things. My favorite was the girl-to-guy ratio was about 8-1, so that was really positive. But there's a lot of other things with acting. I remember that it all really started with improv comedy, and I had a Kappa, the high school program, went down to my middle school, and they basically just had a blank stage and took things from, like little things from us, and I thought they were just the coolest, smartest people in the world. So when they had to audition us in 8th grade, I got in. My teacher later told me not because of talent, but because I was the only person who had ever dressed up. So I did this monologue of old sea captain. I have no idea why I chose that, but I wore like a old sea captain type sports coat all day to school, and then I couldn't have a pipe, so I took an old camera, like where you used to take the film in,
Right.
and I black duct taped that to my black pen and made that into a pipe, and that's kind of how I got into the program. So that's how my love of improv went, and that was always what I wanted to do. I always wanted to do improv comedy. I've loved that my whole life. And even in movies, when we used to make like fun little movies in high school and stuff like that, because I was nerdy and didn't like to have things like sex or alcohol. We made movies instead, and well, essentially, those were all improv based as well. So I'd always been connected to improv, and also I want you to know, PJ, from the bottom of my heart, I really hate memorizing things.
Well, I guess that test is a bad idea then, huh?
Yeah, I was daunted at first. I've been nervous. Technically, I actually wrote most of it on my hand.
Okay, well, cheating's all right. We allow it's an open hand test, so you're good to go.
That's good.
So, well, it's funny because a lot of people have been inspired by improvisation in one form or another. When I was a kid, the very first thing I ever saw, I can't remember what the play was, but my mom and dad took me to some big production, and I mean, the live aspect of it was what got me. Watching the people perform. I want to say I think it was Peter Pan, where they're flying above the stage. It was that kind of a production. And then years later, living in Florida, I've always been a Disney World fan, so I go there a lot. And the street, I would go for the streetmosphere people, the people that did the shows on the street. And it turned out that a lot of the performers from SAC Comedy Lab, SAC, got their start in Renaissance fairs before they became a full-blown theater. And when Disney went looking for things to do with Epcot and the Hollywood studios, MGM Studios back then, they had attended different fairs and things like that, and they found this troupe, SAC, and they brought them over to put together quite a few of the shows that they do. And just recently, up until just recently, they've changed things. But for 30 years, SAC had influenced that. I did not know that as a kid or as I was growing up liking these things. Years later, I learned that stuff. So it was that interaction that got me. I liked. I could go back and see the same skit or same show over and over again. It would be just a little different. And other people, why do you go back so much? Well, it's different. I like that. And if you're bold enough, if you have the guts enough, they'll interact with you. If you talk to them, and that always got me. I always liked that.
I do. I was actually in Disney 3 weeks ago, and yeah, I mean that's always been one of my favorite parts too, is the interaction or the characters. To me, Disney's not just about if you want to do roller coasters, you can go to Busch Gardens or Cedar Point or Six Flags or something like that. With Disney, it's about hugging Mickey Mouse. It's about really interacting, and I think that's a large portion of what we've taken into the Murder Mystery Company. The Murder Mystery Company is not just about, hey, those guys are really entertaining. It's about, hey, I was part of that show. And when you leave, a Murder Mystery Company show, you leave with something special that happened to you. You leave with a story. You leave with, really, truly an experience.
No, yeah, and see, the good thing is one of our founding members, David Razor. He was does your shows or did your shows a lot. I think he's moved on to some traditional acting. He's done some plays and theater, and I think he's actually been doing some productions.
I heard light porn actually is what he moved on to. Is that correct or no?
I won't confirm or deny any of that. We have nothing to do with that. He may or may not, but he's also a trained clown, so that very well could be. That is a twisted trait, so he could be. But another friend of mine, Ron Jaffe, he's a member of our troupe now, and he performs there, or has performed with you guys. So this has been, you guys. It's a fun thing. I love anything that's. Script is great, and but I love things where people can interact and play with you, and I think that's for me, that's what I like about. I've only been to one murder mystery thing, and I apologize, it wasn't yours. It was a sleuth here in Orlando.
I like sleuths actually quite a bit.
And have you interacted with them at all?
Like, I mean, I've been to sleuths quite a few times. They're kind of the godfather of what we do. They have one location, certainly, so it's a very different thing. And their shows are very, very different to what we do. But I think for what they do, I think they do it better than anybody. I think our shows are just very, very different. But I like their shows. I think if you look at the annals of murder mysteries throughout the country, they're one of the people that are definitely doing it right. Again, we do a lot more interaction. Ours are a lot more improv based, and ours are a lot more about the actual people going to the show. But as far as a show in which you're sitting and watching and there's a little bit of audience interaction, I think they're probably the best.
It's been a while since I've been back there. We've done a couple of other things. We did some fundraising and stuff with them. And they've been around forever, so it's a good thing. So how many states are you guys in now?
Well, we're in 21 different states. We have 32 public venues. We do about 5,000 shows a year, which puts us as the second largest per volume theater in the country, second to Cirque du Soleil, because they have like 400 shows in Las Vegas, unfortunately. And we do a combination. We do a tremendous amount of private shows. We've worked with 300 of the Fortune 500 companies. But we also, those same actors go out and they'll do grandma's birthday. They'll do your bachelorette party. So, and then, of course, we have our public shows, which are the more traditional ticketed type theater events.
And you guys team up a lot with, one of your main ticket points is Groupon. How does that work for you?
For us, it works great. There's a lot of problems with Groupon, and I can tell you that I've had a lot of friends even, basically go under because they're using it. We were the actual first entertainment thing on either Groupon or Living Social,
right?
Which was an amazing thing. At the time when we started with Groupon ran deals only in Chicago. They ran one deal a day for one day only, so you had 24 hours to do it. And we were the first event that had ever been an event that had been run for it. And at the time, we were a much smaller company, and we sold, I want to say it was 5,000 to 6,000 tickets in 24 hours to our event, and a lot of them were double tickets, so it was significantly more than that. And then it took us about 6-7 months just to get everybody kind of through our shows. But the neat part about it was we were able to, we were such an early adapter of it, and our focus had been at that time before Groupon been a lot on private. So we were able to build a company with the understanding of how Groupon and Living Social run. But if you like to do things like accounting, or you like to, have Groupon provide you with accurate numbers or pay you on time, those things are very hard, and they can be daunting for a place to run a company through.
How long does it take them to pay you? I mean, what's the worst case scenario? Or is it just, are they bad at it? Do they just hold on to your money? I mean, is it a selfish thing? What?
Between you and me only, of course. I'm sure
nobody. No one will hear this. This will just
okay. That's good. I can tell you that Google themselves have an actual separate AdWords department for Groupon, and when they factor in their numbers, they don't factor Groupon into it because Google can't get Groupon to accurately pay them and on time. So in general, it can be really challenging. Sometimes they're great, and you get your money, and it can be an 80-20 thing where it'll be 80% in 30 days and 20% afterwards. They offer a 33 thing, which is like, I think you get it within 2 weeks, and then a month, and then 3 months. And But I can tell you that we've also had a tremendous amount of times where, we're like, hey, wait a minute. Don't you owe us $50,000, you sneaky devils? And they're like, we do. And we're like,
Do you really have to
okay.
chase your money? I mean, if you
Yeah.
don't ask them, they won't give it to you.
Sometimes.
Wait, this is yours. Oh, here, let me give it to you. It sounds like I had a friend that ran a medical supply place, and he had to go under because he was dealing with insurance companies, and they were a lot like the same way. They had all sorts of billing issues and things like that. But then there's always a delay between the time you bill it to the time they actually pay you, especially if you're a little guy, and it takes forever. And so he just couldn't survive because of that.
And we had to build up a tremendous amount of reserves in order to make it all work. And you just have to understand that, like, you're going to have to provide the service before you get the money, and that's kind of the barrier entry to Groupon. But there's a lot of positives too. Here's another example I can give you of which you would often have to pay out the money before you get the money from the customers. It would be called advertising. Yeah. Well, advertising is 100% that. So if you view it more like an advertising expense as opposed to like a partnership or something like that, you can do fine. The other thing is people don't, they just don't factor it out with Groupon. That's huge. It sounds really simple, but I'm sure if anybody's dug into Groupon or something like that, there's tons of stories where, Ma's Pies used a Groupon, right? And she's like, well, I think it cost me about $5 to make a pie, maybe $8, I don't know. And then she ends up selling them for $7, and her pie cost was $9. All of a sudden, she's losing $2 on every pie, and she doesn't even get that reimbursement for 3 to 4 months. And there's refunds on top of that. All of a sudden, Ma's Pies is broke. But if she factors it out ahead of time, and she knows exactly what her costs are and exactly how low she can go, and then she puts aside the money to have the sustainability to provide the service adequately, then it can work great. And that's really the biggest thing. A lot of times it's just people. The Groupon used to kind of target startup businesses. And a startup business that really knew what they were doing was great, but a startup business that doesn't, they could go under easily from something like that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people have challenges with them, and I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's probably just that. It's like me. I have advertisers, and a lot of them, I do a lot of barter, and I'll get free tickets or something, or free gift cards or things like that. But it helps me because I can give them away as contests or giveaways, and so it creates the person, the client will see the cards come back or whatever, so they're seeing the advertising working, or they wouldn't come back. But it's an investment because they're not really although they give me a percentage, like a 10% or 20% down, just to cover the cost of the commercials and stuff like that. But
sure,
a good portion of it goes back to them, so it's a return on their investment. Where Groupon, they're collecting money. You're really not collecting anything. I guess it's sort of the same thing if you count on if you kind of hope that you'll get the money but not expect it, because it sounds to me like it's not a guaranteed.
I've never had them not pay me, but you have to know how much they owe you. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
You have to so I've never had them not pay me. I should definitely state that. I've never had Living Social not pay me either, nor have I had Amazon Prime, or not Amazon Prime, Amazon Deals. Amazon Deals tends to be the most reliable as far as getting your money back, but their audience is not even a quarter of Living Socials, and Living Socials is half of Groupon.
Right. Well, and that's I don't know. It's sad, but as far as the how risky it is, or how many companies can find themselves in the trouble because of that. But it's if you use it right and you learn, it sounds to me like you've had your education.
I'm glad that we were able to turn PJ and Friends a little sad.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Beforehand, you should play a very special PJ and Friends episode.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we will be right back.
You're listening to PJ and Friends on pjandfriends.com. Orlando, Florida.
Have you ever wanted to ride in a hot air balloon? Well, you can with Orlando Balloon Rides. It's an adventure of a lifetime. Take a ride in a hot air balloon. You will fly with the winds on a truly amazing journey. Explore Florida from the orange groves to the theme parks and more. See it all from a whole new vantage point. Experience total excitement from start to finish. You will ascend above the treetops to several thousand feet. This is an experience of a lifetime. Visit OrlandoBalloonRides.com for more information. That's OrlandoBalloonRides.com. Zoom Air Adventure Park Orlando, ziplining at its best. A Zoom Air Adventure is a great outing for families, friends, or coworkers. This entertaining self-propelled attraction gives both nature lovers and challenge seekers the opportunity to enjoy the thrill of adventure. Feel your adrenaline pump as you conquer abundant treetop challenges, including exhilarating rides on our zipline. Visit zoomair.us for more information. That's zoomair.us. Nalor Brazilian Steakhouse, Winter Park. Nalor is an upscale casual Brazilian restaurant serving all-you-can-eat grilled meats, carved tableside. Nalor serves more than 15 different cuts of beef, lamb, chicken, and pork using a traditional open-flame churrasco barbecue. This provides the same tender and flavorful meats that have remained popular in Latin America for centuries. Nalor also boasts a gourmet salad bar with over 45 delectable choices ranging from smoked salmon to fresh asparagus, a variety of fine cheeses, prosciutto, mouth-watering hot dishes, and assorted seafood items. To complement the meal, every table is offered our house specialty, oven-warmed cheese bread. For reservations, call 407-645-1112. That's 407-645-1112. Or visit nalor.com.
All right, PJ and Friends has several ways to promote your product, service, club, group, or business. We can sponsor a segment or a whole show. Advertising packages are affordable. We can do 30, 60-second reads, live reads, which is what this is, why I'm fumbling it horribly. If you want more information, you can email us at sales@pjandfriends.com. And now, let's go back to our... Hello, buddy. How are you?
I am good. Can we take a moment and talk about Orlando balloon rides real quick?
Sure.
First off, I do love balloon rides, but it is so unbelievably close to Orlando balloon rides. Do you think that there's any girls waiting in line and being like, wait, what am I doing in this balloon? Oh no, I misheard. Oh, that's terrible.
Well, here's the thing. They have like a champagne brunch kind of thing, or you champagne and cheese up in the basket there. So I don't know if they'll be minding too much if they're in the balloon.
You know what? They'll probably still enjoy it with or without Orlando Bloom there.
Right. That's.
Although, wouldn't it be great if you found out he owned it? That would be wonderful.
Well, yes. That's a good tongue twister there. Well, maybe we'll just have a play on that next time. Legolas himself will take you up in a balloon.
That would be the best balloon ride in history.
Orlando Bloom dressed as Legolas.
Orlando Bloom, Orlando balloon ride.
That's bad. It's really bad if you mistype the domain name and you actually get his personal email address. All right, so let's talk about your murders. Why do you keep killing people off every week? What's wrong with you?
Well, that's really a two-part question. The second part is what's wrong with me. And you did say there's an hour time limit, so I'm going to go past that. Okay. And go with why do we keep killing people off. I like to focus a little bit more on the mystery than the murder element to it, I guess. But we do enjoy a good murder. And one of the most interesting parts about our shows is a member of the audience is generally the actual killer. And it really could be anybody. So you could be very well sitting next to some guy, and that guy could be the killer. So there's a lot of fun with that. There really is. And I like the idea of immersive theater. That's been something that's always been like the cornerstone of what I believe theater should be. Again, PJ, between just you and me.
Right. No one will hear this.
Good. Thank you. I think theater in general, is frustrating. When I go to watch theater, I'm imagining myself performing a lot of times, And a big turning point is I saw a truly terrible music called A Boy from Oz. And when I saw it, it was starring Hugh Jackman. And he had just come off of the first X-Men movie, and I was probably 19 or 20 or something like that. And I was so excited to see Wolverine. And I was just so thrilled. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I assumed it was like some sequel to Wizard from Oz or something like that. Like Dorothy got knocked up and had a boy from Oz. It was like the Cowardly Lion's boy 2, or was it the Tin Man's? Something like that. But actually, it was a musical, and it was basically whatever the opposite of Wolverine is, was that musical. There was a long scene in which he falls in love with Liza Minnelli. There was also a lot of scenes where he kissed guys, but I did find him falling in love with Liza Minnelli a little bit more gay.
So let me ask you. Let me ask you: is there a lot of kissing Liza Minnelli in your shows?
We put Liza Minnelli does a lot of shows for us, although she is very firm on her no nudity clause. But we're working on it. We're working on it, Orlando.
And isn't it true? Her contract says she's got to be disguised as your waiter. She cannot be recognized at all. So
that is true. Although ironically, her contract also says that on air we can't tell anybody that she's disguised as your waiter.
Right.
So I don't know. She probably quit.
Well,
but
I'm sorry.
The
that cost your contract there.
The cornerstone of A Boy from Oz, for me, was the fact that Hugh Jackman actually never left stage. They had an intermission, and he just stayed on stage and then talked to the audience. And the show had like 27 musical numbers. That's not an exaggeration. And I could not stand that show. But when he talked to the audience, just randomly taking questions in character, I'm like, this is the most entertaining thing. And almost nobody left their seat for intermission, because he's just sitting there talking to people. And really funny, really interactive. And I'm like, why isn't this the entire show? Why is there a part where you have to sit and watch?
Yeah, who wants to see Liza Minnelli anyway, right? We want to see him.
That's a good point. Nobody wanted to see Liza.
That's why she's a waiter now.
She's not out there talking. She's not doing anything. She's not faking being your waiter, which is why I hired her to be our waiter.
Right.
That is exactly why. I'll be honest.
She should be lucky she's even working nowadays.
I would have been a millionaire, but I put all of my money into hiring Liza Minnelli to be waiters. And, some people will call that a mistake. But between that and my Fabergé egg collection, I'm fine living in a very, very tiny shack near a small river.
Okay.
So when I really saw that, I realized that theater can be very, very frustrating. Like, it has theater compared to movies. Movies win almost every time. Like, movies will usually have better stars. You're always more excited to see, Robert De Niro than you are to see some acting guy that you've never heard of. Movies have a bigger budget. Movies have basically better props, but they're closer. A lot of people don't talk about that, but you can see people better in a movie. If you're sitting in the far row, you can only kind of hear it and vaguely see the action on stage. But the only thing that movies can't do is interact with you. And that's why I find theater so frustrating, because they could be interacting with you. That's the best part about something being live, is you can interact with it. And I grew up being a big, WWE fan, or back then a WWF fan. And I grew up, always liking the concept of the experience of people talking to you, the experience of you being kind of part of it. And I love acting and I love improv comedy because I'm doing it. But I'm always like, why are people paying just to watch me have fun? And there's certainly something nice about that. But what we tried to do at the Murder Mystery Company is we literally are getting paid to make sure you have fun and you'll feel like you're part of the show. I mean, and we do stuff that, nobody does. You could get handcuffed to the table. You might get a lap dance from an old woman. Members of our audience, a large hammier part of the audience, will actually get to play characters. We seat people in table teams, which means that if you showed up with like 5 of your friends, we're probably going to seat another 5 people with you, and you guys are all going to work together, which is kind of in Europe how they do dinner just normally. Like you go to Germany, you just sit with people, and that's one of the experiences of it. And with us, you sit with people too, and you get to know them. And if you are a wallflower and you don't feel like jumping out of your seat, you certainly don't have to. You can play detective with those table teams, and that can help. But I can tell you that almost 90% of our audience actually gets out of their seat, walks around for what we call investigation time, and they'll trade, fake money for clues. They'll be bribing people. They'll be interrogating people. Some of them will actually be suspects, and we provide these kind of fun hats, fun costumes kind of thing for them. And then on top of all of that, almost all of our shows are themed in a way people dress up for them. So about 50% of the audience dresses up for them like they would Rocky Horror or a costume party. So it's truly an actual real experience, not just something you watch.
I would like to go to one of your shows with a group. With a group of people.
I'm sorry, we're full, PJ.
Actually. I looked. Quite a few of them are sold out, which is very good. For
yeah,
you.
We are sold out right now.
Not if they're Groupons, though.
But I can get if you want for you, I can get you in sometime April of 2016.
Perfect, because I want us all to come dressed as Star Trek people, as if we're going back in time and we're watching a murder.
Yes. Actually, there is an episode of Next Generation Star Trek. Hold on, let me say that again.
I knew I got it from somewhere.
Yeah, can I do take 2?
Yeah.
All right, one sec. There actually is an episode of Next Generation Star Trek that is almost exactly like this, in which the crew dresses up to solve a mystery, and I believe Picard is wearing a bowler. That was probably better. I feel stronger about take 2.
Do you?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now, did you say that you had one of your detectives available somewhere?
Yes, actually. Detective Peter Ness was actually hoping to talk to you a little bit. He can be a little forward, though. Is that going to be okay?
That's fine.
Good, because I actually, right now, it actually just turned into anarchy here. Because of the cold weather, and it's negative 22. So I was actually going to go outside. I found the last ham sandwich, and it's being guarded by a polar bear. So I need to see if I can take it from him.
Okay.
So I'll be right back, and I'll have Peter Ness come in. Okay.
Very cool.
Okay. Hello. Who is this?
Hi, my name is PJ with PJ and Friends. Hi, Mr. Ness.
PJ.
How are you?
Is that your full name? How do you spell that?
P as in Paul, J as in John, PJ.
PJ. So your full name is Paul John or PJ?
PJ.
Your real name is PJ, not Paul John.
Correct.
What is your alias, Paul John?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, sir, I want to ask you just a couple questions, okay? If you don't mind, you mind me asking you a couple questions?
Please go right ahead. I'm an open book.
All right. So first off, there is a reported robbery by a man named Paul John. Do you happen to know him or know anything about him? It was reported recently that they were working on a 7-Eleven job, which is police code for a bank job, I guess. And it was a Paul John and some of his friends, quote unquote. Now, we have not been able to locate the friends. Do you know where any of them are?
Well, they sort of left me here. They just sort of ran away.
Left you holding the bag, huh?
Exactly.
Left you holding the bag. That's very convenient. That is very convenient. Now, PJ, by any chance have you recently robbed anybody? Stolen anything? Have you been perhaps on the lam?
I had lamb for dinner last night. I did eat
some
lamb.
Now, were you on it at any point in time?
Well,
frankly, I don't even know what that expression means. I think what it means is that at some point in time in the olden days, robbers would get away by lamb. I think that's how it used to play out.
Well, I have a saddle. I have a saddle for my lamb.
You have a saddle for your lamb?
I do.
So you have been on the lamb.
Yes.
Now,
it was Mary's lamb to begin with, but I stole Mary's lamb.
You stole Mary's lamb and you robbed a bank with some of your friends, and your friends have left.
Yes.
Now, do you have the money that you stole from the bank? Because if I just got that, they'd probably be cool with it.
I have 50 cents left.
You have 50 cents left.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's interesting because it was actually only a 25-cent robbery, sir. It was a very small robbery at the bank. It was a Bank of Detroit, and they don't have any money left. So you took their last 25 cents. They would like it back. And if you wanted to, you wanted to give them the full 50, that would help. Just maybe mail in an envelope. I'm going to be frank with you. I'm way too far away.
Hi, Frank. I'm PJ.
No. Well, first off, I thought you were Paul John, and I don't like when you call me Frank.
Oh.
Frank is my maiden name.
Well, you said you wanted to be Frank. I was just trying to be hi, Frank.
No, Frank's my maiden name, sir. If you could keep.
Congratulations, you're married.
Not anymore. That's why I had to go back to my maiden name.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, for a lot of people, I do get a lot of people asking me my full name. My name is Detective Peter Ness. So I've been teaching people a little bit how to.
We don't talk dirty on the air. Peter Ness is not something we want to talk about.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so I've heard some problems. It's just my name, sir. There's nothing dirty about it. I don't know if you just have your mind in the gutter here, sir. I'm going to ask you just frankly. You have admitted to me to being having the alias of Paul John, I believe, and you have admitted that you have friends that are no longer here. Is it or is it not true that you have murdered your friends?
I have murdered them, all of them.
You have murdered all of your friends.
They had it coming.
All right, sir. I need just to know where you are located, and I'm going to have to come pick you up.
I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, that's convenient. I'm in Grand Rapids.
I'm guarding a ham sandwich.
Okay, hold on. I will. I'm going to be right out there. I know what ham sandwich you were talking about, and I will be right out there. Just if you could, maybe just put your face in the snow. Maybe just have one of the penguins watch you. Okay.
Very good.
All right. All right. I got that ham sandwich. That was delicious. So what did I miss?
Nothing. We had some lamb. We sat on it. We rode some horses. We killed some of my friends, and now I'm in Michigan.
Okay, that's what you call a big day. We should take a nap. I think it's probably nap time now.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, so this is very cool. You're funny. You're a funny guy.
Thank you. Usually when people say you're funny out loud, it means you're not that funny.
Well, yeah, it's funny when you get pulled over by cops and you happen to be a comedian. They say, "You think you're funny?" Well, yeah, I sort of do. I segue here. A couple of months ago, I got pulled over at a speed trap here in Florida, and the guy, my car is a really short, ugly piece of. Anyway, so the guy comes up to my car, and he barely comes up to the window. And I'm looking, and I'm laughing. And he's a motorcycle cop, and the helmet looks twice as big as he is. And he says, "What do you?" and he says, "What are you laughing at?" And I know this guy's clearly got a height problem, right? He's got a short man's problem.
He looks like he's from Spaceballs, basically.
Looks like if he tilted his head one way or the other, he'd fall over. So, he says, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "Oh, it's something funny. The radio show just said something funny, so I liked that show. So it got me out of trouble. Had I said the real thing, we wouldn't be talking today."
That's good. I'm glad you're not dead.
I'm not.
I apologize if that's too emotionally forward, but
I'm glad you're happy that I'm not dead because I don't want.
Yeah,
to that
look
means
at this.
Had I been murdered, you would investigate for me.
Budding friendship right there.
That's a whole new business. Investigation insurance. If you die, you will investigate their death. So I think you ought to sign people up.
Okay. All right, I'm with you.
You don't think so? Think about it.
No, I love it. I love any idea in which I can throw money into and it won't return anything.
Well, come on. They have those insurance for people that pass away, right? They have you want to have a funeral, pay now, buy later.
Yep.
What it is? Well, you need
Yeah.
to have like investigation insurance. Pay $3-4 a month. Of course, you can't redeem it for the first 2 years because investigations are expensive. You have private investigators, you have hotel
true.
rooms.
That's true.
You have to do it. You have to do it in
I
black
like
and white.
I like that is your scope
You have to do
of private investigating. You got investigators, and they have hotel room needs, and
and you
there's
gotta
probably something else.
gotta-
I assume they need. I don't know.
Well, come on. There's pads. There's pencils. There's dimly lit rooms. There's torture.
No, I think you're thinking of our parent company, which is 50 Shades of Murder Mystery Company. I believe that was what you're thinking there.
Yeah, I only watch it after dark. You can't.
Okay.
In a closed room.
I think you said Family Show, right? Family Show.
Oh, it's okay. We're good.
Oh.
Well, I killed them all, so there's nobody here.
Oh, well, there you go. You murdered nothing. Okay.
So, I was talking to, is it Don here? Don, your buddy Don here. A couple of my friends had suggested I sign up to do your deal here, and the problem is first, my car is crap, so it was having problems. Second, I had some things I couldn't. I guess he wanted me to come down yesterday to sit in on a show or be a photographer or something, and I wasn't able to do it. So I'm hoping that I want to do it. I think this will be fun.
It will be. You're doing a good job. So yeah, in general, to your audience, come on down unless your car has problems or you don't want to or something like that. Come on down.
Well, here's the thing. I would say, nowadays you look at what the cost of things. You go to a movie theater, you got to mortgage the house. You got to buy the tickets. You've got to buy the popcorn. If a family of four, you've spent $200-$400. For the same price of that, you could have a live interaction entertainment
And a meal. And a meal. That's a big deal too.
And where else can
and a
you get
murder. And a
not
murder.
get
And in most places, unless you happen to be one of your famous Washington D.C. listeners, in most places that is a treat. And very unexpected. Outside of Washington, D.C., possibly Detroit and Chicago, I think that's a nice, rare treat, a mystery and a murder and a meal.
And the good thing is this is interactive, so you get a chance to have some fun. And the actors that are involved with this, supporting them is a big deal. Supporting any kind of local theater is a big deal. I think it's important. I think what you've turned, this is an awesome thing you've got here. I hope it's treating you well. I mean, all joking aside, it's a business. How the economy hit pretty bad a couple years ago, and for a little while we're still recovering. How has that affected your business? I mean,
It's helped it. I don't mean to be morbid or anything like that, but because of the form of entertainment we do, because of the submersive aspect of it, in general, it's helped. I think it hurt maybe like corporate Christmas parties, holiday parties, that kind of stuff. But the thing to note about our theater is, we tried to make it not cost prohibitive. Our goal is that a lot of people see our product, and unlike most products, the more we produce, the better it is, because an actor doing more murder mysteries is going to be better than an actor certainly doing less. It's not like food you cook or something like that. If you make 20 pies versus 10,000. But I can tell you that, we've made it so there's not a lot of barrier as far as cost goes, even for our private shows.
Right.
When you just as a quick example, in Orlando, there's a couple other places that do private shows. Oftentimes, we are between $500 and $700 cheaper than the other private shows, and the reason we do that is we want actors in all of our areas to work, and we know that we command better actors because we can get them out there 4 to 5 times a week,
right.
And then of course you get better actors for your show because you got the same guy who just did this huge $20,000 event for Coca-Cola, and now he's doing a $299 event for your mom's birthday,
Right.
or a graduation party, and that becomes and I think that's one of the best things that we actually provide. Not only just work for actors that they can enjoy, but also just the concept that people who normally can't afford a luxury item like this can with us. because we don't try to make all of our money off 2 or 3 customers in a month.
And this is very affordable. And it's in my opinion, these things are like cruises. It's kind of cool. You want to go either with a fun-loving group of people or lovers.
Yes, or find a lover there. Always an option.
Just don't fall in love with the murdered victim. You don't want to.
Our actors are very good looking in general, and often have low moral standards.
That's great.
So.
That's great. Well, this is a cool thing. I think this is fun. I think people should take a look at it. They should definitely. It is the murdermysterycompany.com.
Absolutely, yes.
And
that's murdermysterycompany.com.
And it's a very, I'm twisted, so he's got all these little videos along the way. You want to watch them because they're cool. And just sit there because he gets angry with you, Chris. If you want to sit there and just look at the one page, he'll sit there with you and heckle you for doing so. I think that was witty. That was real witty. I love that. I have a couple questions I usually ask all of my my guests.
Absolutely. And the correct answer is no. I did not wear pants to this interview. When I heard that it wasn't a video interview, I was upset. But
it could be. No one else could see it but me, and I don't really want to see you naked. So it's like,
that is not the traditional answer I get. I usually get an answer similar to "ah" or "ugh."
So question number 1 is, when you go out for a steak dinner, is it rare, medium rare, or well done?
I do actually none of those. I do medium well. I'm a big medium well fan.
All right, and when you order that steak, is it mashed potatoes, French fries, or baked potato?
I'm a mashed potatoes man with butter on the side, and I'm also hungrier now and wish I had skipped breakfast.
All right, and if you this is testing your geek factor, and you clearly have one because you went dirty earlier. In your preference, is it DC or Marvel as far as comics and superheroes?
Oh, that is a tough one. I personally believe that Marvel is a little bit better because they tend to have a little bit more continuity. DC can do insane things. Batman recently died in a Crisis book that I was reading, and he died in a side panel. And then I was also reading a Batman issue, and he died on a plane. He literally died twice in the same month, and actually died. And they did not ever explain how he got off the plane and that he wasn't dead. So overall, that has hurt me. I think when DC is really impressive is when they occasionally have these amazing one-shot books like Identity Crisis.
Right.
But overall, Marvel is superior. I'm actually an Ultimate Marvels fan, but they're blowing up that universe. Okay, done.
So no. And see, we can go comic book and geek if you want, but the next thing is when watching Star Trek, are you more Next Generation or original series?
Oh, I'm a huge Next Generation comparatively. I will tell you though, if it was like me, let's just say me, PJ, and his friends,
right,
I'd probably watch the original because it's campy and fun, and certainly has its moments. And actually, I'm actually staring across a picture right now in my office of me and the Captain William Shatner, and I've never met Picard, so.
That's cool. Very, very cool. So the next question, I've gotten a variety of answers, and they're, it's interesting to see how people answer this. If you were stuck on a desert island, what one item and one person would you have with you?
What one item and one person?
Assuming you knew it was coming, anyway.
Oh, sure. Well, I'm always in a tough debate with person because on one hand, I would, you're like, well, I'd like to have, Melissa, my beautiful girlfriend there. But actually, I'd probably go with Kim Jong-un because then he wouldn't be doing his thing, because he'd be stuck on a desert island with me. And plus, he seems, with his haircut, he has to be a little bit funny.
Okay, this isn't bedazzled. This isn't like you get 7 more wishes if you do the honorable thing. I'm kidding. It's funny that you say that because most people go with they want to if they're married or in a relationship, it's usually their spouse, and that always confuses me because why would you want to doom them on this the desert island?
Exactly.
But
You're like ruining their life. It's like, whose life would you want to ruin? And I think the dictator of North Korea. That's who I would take. Like, if I could suddenly just be like, who do I want to screw the most? I would go with him. And if I did end up having to kill and eat him, they found me, they'd give me a medal, I think.
Ew.
So, way different. What's that?
Can you imagine how greasy that would be? Oh.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he tastes good. I apologize if that's too candid for this, but he wouldn't be my ideal choice to murder and eat.
And what one item would you bring?
So that's tough. I mean, does the island have food?
Wow. Okay. So that's important. Here's why. I had one guy say, "I'm going to bring a satellite phone." That made sense. He did not want to be on the. Now the thing is, he did bring his wife, and then left her there with because. Another guy said he wanted to bring Ryan Stiles and some sort of script. I can't remember what the script was. I'm like, so he planned on being there for a while. Wanted a comedian with him.
Fair enough.
So
I would if I didn't like Ryan Stiles so much and not be interested in I would totally hang out with Ryan Stiles on an island, and I think we could do fine. We could build a beautiful life together, I feel.
No, that's what I get. I imagine the materialization of this. Boom, you're on the island, and there it is, the person you have, and they find out that you knew that you wanted them there, and then so my first thing is they'd hate you. Why the hell did you bring me here?
They totally hate you. You're totally right. They would massively, massively hate you.
Well, unless they're twisted. Unless they're twisted.
This was your wish? Your wish was to ruin my life. That was your wish. So I guess a helicopter or a jet plane or something like that, if we could be abstract and get off the island with something.
I don't know what would happen once you got it, but the thing was,
a cruise liner.
The Love Boat. There you go. Julie McCoy. I love the answers. The answers usually are very politically correct. I mean, they're my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my whatever.
I try to stay away from that. If you noted, I tried to say, "Oh, my beautiful girlfriend Melissa and our lovely daughter Amanda," but instead I try to brush that off and give you a more unpolitically correct answer. My goal of this interview was not politically correct. That's been a big goal for me on this one.
No, this has been a completely non-political conversation.
Nope.
And
this is a good time to mention I don't like Eskimos. There, I said it.
You're a hater.
Yeah.
Eskimo hater. So wait, do you like Eskimo pies?
If they're the thing I'm thinking they are, I do.
See, so then how can you hate all Eskimos?
I've assumed they've been made from real Eskimo.
Yeah, like Girl Scout cookies. Hello.
They're delicious. Eskimos are delicious, and not people. They're just wanted to sprinkle in some random hatred of people that we don't know anything about.
Right. Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance, yes. I like that PJ and Friends has consistently promoted ignorance.
Oh yeah, we know
I feel like that's a strong goal for you guys, and I respect that.
I didn't even know we had goals. Thank you. We will now. That'll be our company motto.
Maybe promoting PJ and Friends,
right.
Promoting ignorance.
Right, ignorance. Ignorance and bliss around the world. Our mascot will be the ostrich.
That's great. I'm totally seeing this coming together. I really am. It should be on a flag.
And just
an ostrich in the sand on the desert, in a desert island with his head buried in a flag, and then it says something in Latin, which means to promote ignorance
and bliss. Come on,
and bliss,
because ignorance is bliss. But see, just for the record, since now these ideas are now property of ours, we owe you no royalties. So your mansion on that desert island with your jet and who was it you were going to take with you? Your wife?
No, I don't think so. I was going to take Kim Jong-un.
Oh, that's right, and so now he will be there with your jet and your mansion.
That's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to thank you for your time, buddy. This has been cool.
Yeah.
So how is the weather up there? Is it freezing?
It is -22.
Oh well, just
And they canceled school for the first time I've maybe ever seen. They canceled all schools because they have a policy of not below -20, which is a really insane policy because that's so cold already.
What is the freezing temperature of children? I mean, do children freeze at a certain point? What?
I've only baked the children, so I'm not sure. I grew up in a long line of witches. Unfortunately, they made a lot of candy houses, and it didn't go well for them.
You're funny. So do you ever travel to your other shows and pop in?
Oh gosh, yes. How we built all of this is we actually fly to each individual place and we build it from the ground up. So we don't find like a group of just, random murder mystery people with improv actors. We actually, hand do each one. We find our own director. We teach them all of our things. We'll often fly them to Grand Rapids as well for a special training session. And it wasn't too long ago that I opened personally every single troupe. We have a few now that I don't personally do. We have so many and so much training to constantly do. We have wonderful production managers like May and stuff like that. But in general, yeah, I teach every single director when they fly up here, and yeah, I've been to all of our troops. I've seen all of our shows. I've critiqued all of our shows. I can be pretty brutal. I have pretty high standards for what we do and our amount of interactivity, but it's neat. It's fun feedback, totally different than other shows. I'll literally say things like, all right, so Brian, it looks like I was hoping you would kiss more guys on the cheek in this show. You did not. You only kissed 2 gentlemen on the cheek, and that was not as sexually aggressive as I was hoping you would be. And Audrey, I think you're fantastic here. However, there was a bald guy that had kind of a comb over, and I really felt you could have messed up his hair more than you did. Stuff like that. That can be some of our feedback. Detective, I was really hoping you had an opportunity here to handcuff 2 couples together, and you just didn't take it. I wish you had. That's our feedback. That's how it sounds.
What I stuck on there was that you don't let anybody kill people. You have to personally train them, and I think
we have huge standards.
This is something you don't want to try at home. You need to go to a professional to have this done. I mean,
yes, you do. Yeah. I mean, murder in a box is not the direction you want to go. You need trained professionals to murder people. It takes a lot of training. We call our method actually the Grimprov method, which is what our website is based off of. Mm-hmm. And we actually have a fun video on there for all of your listeners to look at under killer videos. But it kind of explains what we do because our training process is incredibly rigorous for improv. And not just anybody can get into the murder mystery company. You have to be definitely a special kind of person, and you have to understand the audience is going to come first at all times.
So do you tape many of these at all? I mean, one of the things that a local theater does here is they do what's called a slice of life, where they actually tape the event for somebody, so they always have a record of it. But I guess for you guys, it'd be kind of hard to do.
We tape them for training purposes, and then certainly we have a few promotional videos and stuff like that. It's a tough call because I like to compare it to Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I think that is the leap between movies. Like Rocky Horror Picture Show isn't a movie, it's an interactive experience. And we're not exactly a theater show, we're a game and a interactive theatrical event. So in general, I want them to know a little bit, what's going to happen, but that first time you go to Rocky Horror is magic, and the first time you go to the Murder Mystery Company shows is magic, and you want to kind of prepare a little bit, like, hey, it's going to be the 1920s, and hey, dressing up is a great idea, and that makes it a lot more fun, but to really tape it, I feel like, it'd be like taping Disney World, it's just not the same thing. Disney's special because you get to hug Mickey. We're special because of things that happen to you personally, and I don't want to spoil any of that.
You're listen, I think what you do is awesome. I think that you turning this into a business is good. I hope everybody there is having a good time. I hope the success continues for you.
We are, and yeah, we have a lot in common, PJ. Maybe I should be one of your friends.
No, I kill them all. You
No.
you want to die?
Well, I thought you were killing them all because they weren't very good, and
No,
you
they were
needed
trying to get
to-
my spot. They were trying to get the. Remember I told you, you got an empire.
It's a
there.
competition thing. You're
Oh,
the
yeah,
worst
right.
of the friends.
Well, yes.
So PJ and friends, you were the lead, but it was based on fear.
Well,
it wasn't based on talent.
They'd never succeed in kill me unless their name was PJ because the logo's got PJ on it. So
Oh.
well, it could be like Princess Bride, where the Dread Pirate Roberts is everybody takes over that name. Maybe I'm the 6th generation PJ. But
You could be. Maybe there's been multiple PJs, and every single day you wake up and I'll likely kill you in the morning until you
like
become
Groundhog
the
Day.
PJ.
New PJ every morning.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I want to thank you so much for your time, buddy.
Thank you.
You please stay warm. And is there anything else you want to say before we end this thing?
Absolutely. Come check out our website, themurdermysterycompany.com. For all of your listeners, we're in multiple places in Florida. Come check us out. For any of your listeners, if they mention PJ and Friends, we're more than happy to honor half-off tickets. So again, mention PJ and Friends, and we will honor any half-off tickets. So that's tickets for basically $29 as opposed to the normal $60.
And it looks like you have shows in Inglewood, Tampa, and West Palm Beach.
Yeah, currently, we're actually looking at Orlando soon too. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. But in general, we're right there. So definitely come check out themurdermysterycompany.com. And thank you so much for having me.
Before you go, we have to talk about this half-off price. You need to double it. I mean, these people need to charge double. I mean, I think you should charge double and then give me half.
That's a good point. Okay, so if you mention PJ and Friends ripoff to anybody,
That's it.
what we'll do is we will charge you an additional. We'll take half off and then charge you an additional PJ and Friends listeners fee that will go directly to whoever the PJ is currently, whether it's this PJ you hear now or a different PJ. But PJs will last forever. If you cut the head off a PJ, 2 more will appear.
Right, and the secret code word to get that price is body in the trunk. Body in the trunk will get you in, for the double price. So,
yes.
All right, Scott, thank you so much for your time, buddy. Please stay warm. And, hey, if you ever head this way, let us know so we can come out and meet you. And I've just got to figure out what time they're doing their shows next and get with Don and all.
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. We'll make sure you and all of your listeners can get into a show.
Well, no. I want to perform with you guys. So.
You want to perform?
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds great.
That's what I was going to. That's what I was. I was supposed to do that Wednesday, but I just couldn't get. I had some interviews done, and I just couldn't get around it. But we'll deal with them soon. Thank you for your time. You have a great day, and if you ever want to, just get on and chit chat, we can do that.
All right. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
All right. You have a good day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is PJ and Friends. We want to thank Scott for his time today. You know what? He's an awesome guy. He's got a great product here. You know what? In this day and age, wholesome entertainment, a good murder is a good way to go. TheMurderMysteryCompany.com. Thank you for hanging out. This has been PJ and Friends.
Listening to PJ and Friends on PJandFriends.com.